Now, if you want to really drive him crazy, you say 12 more years.
12 more years.
Because we caught them doing some really bad things in 2016. Let's see what happens. We caught them doing some really bad things. We have to be very careful because they're trying it again with this whole 80 million mail-in ballots that they're working on.
Welcome to the Podquest of Bread. Tonight we are going to talk about 12 more years. And of course we're going to talk about 12 more years because Donald Trump was at the RNC convention today. And, man, that's the stuff to make your skin crawl right there. I knew I was going to have some things to talk about with the RNC convention. I knew that what Charlie Kirk or any of the other speakers were going to say was going to give me some content for a podcast. I knew that Donald Trump giving his acceptance speech from the South Lawn of the White House would probably give me something to talk about, but I actually had thought that maybe we had gotten past this whole notion of Trump serving more terms. But apparently we have not. In the video I just played, what you heard was Donald Trump at the RNC convention. As he was getting ready to speak, the crowd started chanting 4 more years. And Donald Trump, I'll get to what I think of this. Donald Trump says, if you really want to drive him crazy, you say 12 more years. And the convention instantly started to chant 12 more years, 12 more years. Donald Trump seemingly backs up why he should have 12 more years. It's a very interesting topic to talk about. And it's actually a very disturbing topic for our democracy and for our country. It's really a fascist idea. The first thing I want to get to is Trump supporters, Trump himself, his cabinet, his all of them. They're going to attempt to say that, oh, he was just joking around. Oh, he was just messing around. He was just cracking a joke, having a little bit of fun with all of his friends down at the RNC. But you don't do that unless you're trying to actually imply something. You don't do that unless you're trying to create a topic of conversation. You don't do that unless you actually think that you deserve something. See, what Donald Trump did here is he actually discussed, or he planted the seed. He planted the little nugget in the back of his cult's mind that, well, yeah, those Democrats, those radical left Democrats, they messed around in 2016. They're definitely going to mess around this year with the mail-in ballots. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, he really does. He does deserve to run in 2028 and 2024 and 2028. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because he didn't have a fair shake. This is the mentality he's trying to put into their heads and getting them thinking about. Donald Trump, he's hinted at this multiple times. And when you look at his support base and you ask them, should Donald Trump be able to serve more than 2 terms? Should Donald Trump be able to serve for life? They tend to say yes. And this is a continuation of what I've talked about multiple times in this podcast, where Donald Trump is shaping his cult's mind. He is shaping and changing what they think about. Perfect example. If Barack Obama in 2008, leading up to 2012, had hinted that, because the Republicans did XYZ, he deserves a 3rd term or a 4th term, these Republicans would have lit torches. These Republicans would be literally marching outside of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, demanding this fascists be ousted from the office of the presidency. But these same Republicans that would have lost their minds at at Barack Obama doing this, they are going to cheer for Donald Trump doing this. Now, this goes without saying. This is just a part of the duopoly and how they cheer for things when it's their person doing it, and they get aggravated when it's not their person. But for people like us who don't exist within the duopoly, this should actually terrify us. This should actually scare us big time, because this is a dangerous topic of conversation. In the 14 characteristics of fascism, it is discussed as characteristic number 14, fraudulent elections. That is like the final characteristic leading into fascism. It's universal across almost every fascist government. Donald Trump sowing doubt about the 2016 election and shifting the doubt away from whether he received assistance to rig the election. Donald Trump sowing doubt ahead of the 2020 election. And then Donald Trump working to craft a narrative as to why, yeah, those first 8 years really didn't work because none of you guys wanted to work with me and you guys cheated during your elections. This is characteristic 14. It's perfect. It's in bold face, and it's absolutely dangerous. But what do we do in the United States in the face of fascism? That's the question we have to discuss. Because to be blunt and to be simple, what the forefathers envisioned when they said that the people could decide to tear down a government that no longer works for them and replace it with whatever they want, that's not really possible in this day and age. We've seen it. People in the streets in Portland demanding change are getting scooped up by goons wearing camo and thrown into unmarked vans. We are seeing the military deployed to streets in America in ways that we've never seen it. We must admit that overthrowing the government and removing fascism from our government is not possible in the way it is. So what do we do as people? Well, we make noise. We yell about it. We get loud about it. We endlessly protest. And we make sure that leading all the way up to the 2020 election and then the obviously going to be contested results after it, that we are standing there saying, we are watching you and we will not accept this. Whether it's Donald Trump that gets another 4 years or Joe Biden who gets his first term, we must be standing tall and standing loud and saying, no, we do not accept fascism in the United States and things must change and this must never occur. See, Donald Trump saying 12 more years, it's just a continued symptom of the virus that we are suffering from. This virus is directly related to all the things that people in our past have ignored. The powers that they have continually added to and given to the United States government. These are the things that have led us on this stepping stone to where we are now. Now, the fact that we had a narcissist win the election, that we had someone who has so many issues and so many personal issues win the presidency has obviously accelerated the problem and made it more apparent. But we must understand that the virus is the system as it was built and as it was allowed to be built. We must reject this system. We must reject the things that led us to this point and embrace the idea of radical change. And that only starts with us demanding action. 12 more years, it's terrifying. It's absolutely scary. We're watching more and more pieces of the 14 characteristics show themselves, and he's embracing them. We are seeing him take approaches that are seen in other countries. Belarus is fighting against it right now. Venezuela has fought against it. Other countries with fascist rulers have fought against this in the past, and we are literally witnessing an on-the-train ride that is this in the United States. When this podcast was known as The Voice of Liberty, I had changed the logo to say we are witnessing the rise of fascism in America. It was immediately critiqued that fascism has existed in America. We are just watching it become mainstream and popularized. And I cannot help but say that that is the truth. But this is the bluntest we have seen, where during a nominating convention, where he is surrounded by people that overwhelmingly voted for him. I believe he got every delegate that went to the RNC. He got their vote. He's feeling massively powerful right now. He's on a power trip. He's feeling the power behind him because he just experienced over 1,000 people supporting him. The thing we got to remember is we are also going to witness throughout this week people modifying their stances for the President of the United States. And I'm going to wrap this up in a minute here, but what I want to talk about lastly is within the 12 years, we're witnessing him not only change what is commonly believed to be acceptable for the President of the United States to say, we're also witnessing him change the very foundations of his party. Typically, political parties adopt new platforms at their nominating conventions. Typically, these platforms represent progressive growth within the party and represent change within the party, new theories and new ideas that they support, and former theories and ideas that they have struck down. Donald Trump has so polarized and so changed the Republican Party that the party has decided that in 2020 they are not going to adopt a platform. They're not going to change anything. They're not going to make any difference. What they clearly stated is that their platform is the presidency of Donald Trump. Their platform is whatever Donald Trump says is their platform. They are in lockstep with the president. They support him wholeheartedly, and they are not going to challenge him. Understanding that, we are staring at a very, very dangerous future that we must not allow to occur. The presidency is not something that is allowed to be polarized like this. Political parties aren't supposed to be polarized like this. The Republicans, they're crafting this message that their platform is whatever it is. The Democrats, they're crafting a message, essentially, that they are willing to put leftists like us in the dust to accept centrist politicians like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. This is why we must fight to create something that works for us. That's just how it works. Anyway, guys and gals and everyone else, thank you for tuning in to the Podquest of Bread. I'll see you tomorrow night.